The question I have is, I had some lab tests done about a month ago, and my sodium was low. I think they said it was 129. So they told me to take some salt. I did. It's 134 now. And so I haven't felt any symptoms from this at all. So I guess it begs the question is my sodium really too low, or is it just, according to, what they consider normal? And two, what's the best way of replenishing sodium if I need to do it? And I think I had a low sodium because I had tried a thiazide for hypertension.
Yeah, usually when people's sodium is low, it's not because they're not eating salt, it's because their kidneys are being affected by their medication use, or they're hyperhydrating. People drink, you hear about people that go into water drinking contests and flush out the sodium and get into trouble. So the low sodium in your case was probably from the medication, which is notorious for altering electrolyte balance. And what you want to do is get rid of the reason why you would need those hydrochlorothiazide pills, and then you're likely to see your sodium balance normalize. The answer is not just to give you salt, though.
Sherry, would you like to ask a question, and where are you from?
I would, thank you. I am in Delaware. My question is for the amazing Dr. Goldhamer. I am in my early 70s. And I am, let's see, I've got my BMI right here is just right around 20, blood pressure 117 over 99, oh, 79, I'm sorry.
Okay,
say again?
That's much better.
Yeah, 79 is much better. I've been whole food plant-based for a year and 3 months. And what I love to do is I'm whole food plant-based, SOS free, as we call it. And what I want to know is, what is a reasonable amount of hours, if not days, for me to do a water only fast? Because, and I will tell you right now, my physician, the only one that Medicare will pay for, says you can't fast. That's crazy. She's a Russian lady. I love her. She's beautiful, and she's overweight, and she's telling me that at 120 pounds, I'm too thin. And I'm looking at her saying, sweetheart, look at my bones. I'm 5 pounds over my cruising weight. Please don't fight with me. She's not helping me. Please help, 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 help.
So, many people believe that if you got on a plane in New York and you flew all the way to California, you would die of starvation somewhere over Colorado, and that the only reason you didn't die is because you ate the peanuts or the pretzels on the plane. The reality is that even thin people are often able to fast. We've done a study recently with our colleagues at the Mayo Clinic that'll be coming out in the literature next month that looks at whole body composition changes in fasting. We used a DEXA scanner before, during, after, and on follow-up. And what we found was that during fasting, of course, people lose weight. Some of it's fat, some of it's water, fiber, glycogen. And after fasting, what happens is people regain their protein, water, fiber, and glycogen, but the fat loss continues. And that visceral fat is preferentially mobilized in fasting. In fact, the ratio is about 3-to-1. And so the consequence is that people fasted, if you look at them 6 weeks after fasting, their lean body mass is actually higher than it was before fasting. The fat loss continues, visceral fat preferentially drops. So a person that lost 20% of their total adipose tissue may have lost 50% or more of their visceral fat. It's actually the fastest way of preferentially mobilizing visceral fat that's been shown to date. So even a thin person or a normal weight person can oftentimes do at least moderate levels of fasting. And even if they're a little bit thin when they're done, assuming there's no other pathological issues, they're going to regain their water, fiber, glycogen, and protein without a problem. So what I'm recommending that you do is continue to fast every day for 12 to 16 hours. And then if you want to get a doctor that's maybe a little bit more supportive, you might go to True North Health and go to one of our telemedicine physicians that will work with you remotely through Zoom or for the phone, and perhaps they can augment the advice that your doctor's giving you, but coming from a perspective experience and one that understands the role of fasting. And if your doctor's willing to cooperate, we'll work with her so that she can learn more about how she could benefit her patients with appropriate use of periodic or longer term fasting. In fact, we can send her information and articles and other support materials. So sometimes we can kind of rub your success in her face, and that might motivate her to be more aware for her future patients.
VB, would you like to ask a question, and where are you from?
Hi, yes, I'm from Miami, Florida, and I have a question for dental spacers in children. A 9-year-old child having a tooth removed, that's a baby tooth, but because it had an infection, it had to be removed. Now, the dentist recommends a metal spacer to hold the space for the tooth, the adult tooth coming in. For a 9-year-old, I'm curious what Dr. Curatola suggests for those spacers. And then what's his take on the dental implants in adults? And then second question, what are the first steps someone needs to take in reducing ATPO, antibody thyroid peroxidase, when everything, all other labs are normal, but the ATPO, it's 6,000. Thank you.
Okay, so I will take the first part of that. First of all, the metal spacers are a very archaic space maintenance. Obviously, when a child loses a tooth prematurely and the permanent dentition is still forming, we do not want to have crowding occur from the adjacent teeth moving, because that will cause a malocclusion. The teeth will come in a bad position. There is so many better ways. First of all, I don't believe anyone should have metal in their mouth. Not even metal implants, which have now been shown. Titanium corrodes. There was a study that came out in July 2021 from China, and actually very well documented study on the distribution of titanium particles from hips, joints, shoulders, dental implants, titanium dental implants in liver, kidneys, lungs, and brain. Titanium implants in the mouth are affected by 5G. So you should never put, if you have a metal implant, you should never put your cell phone near your head. We use exclusively now zirconia or ceramic, what we call ceramic implants. Zirconia is actually a white metal, but it doesn't block meridian flow the way the metal does. And it also has a much higher biologic acceptance by bone and soft tissue. So that's the thing about dental implants. As far as your child with space maintainer, there are other non-metallic space maintenance devices. By the way, all metal saliva acts as an electrolyte and interacts. And by the way, the metal that's used in children's appliances for space maintenance, metal braces, it is a stainless steel. So, and it does have nickel and a lot of other alloys. So I really don't recommend any of that, and you can find alternatives. The ATPO, I'll leave to Dr. Goldhamer and Dr. Pai.
Okay, let's wrap up with, why don't each of you take 30 seconds to share any final thoughts you want to leave us with tonight. Each of you, just a final closing 30-second summation of any final thoughts you want to share with us as we close. Any order is good.
Well, I'll be happy to start. I got 30 seconds, which is just real simple. Health results from healthful living. So focus on healthy living, focus on diet, sleep, and exercise. If you do that, you're going to be so healthy, you're not going to have to worry too much about all the details.
Thank you.
I would recommend eating a whole food plant-based diet, an anti-inflammatory diet, number one. and taking natural anti-inflammatories, do things that will help strengthen your immune system, stress reduction. These are all things that are covered in my book, in Inflammation Nation. So those are the 10 steps, but they're simple steps, and you don't have to be perfect at everything. These are just changing your epigenetics, diet, lifestyle, environment, belief system. If you do that, in general, most things will always get better.
Dr. Pai, how do we get in touch with you? How do we get your book? How do we follow up with you personally? If we want a Zoom call with you, what's the best?
Yeah, so they can go to Sanjevani, SANJEVANI.net. That's our website. My book's available on Amazon, or you can go to inflammationnation.com, and you can get a signed copy, or you can get on, it's also on iTunes and Audible. So those people want to listen to it. It's about 15-hour read. And so they can call. We can do Zoom consultations for people all around, anywhere around the world.
And if they go on our website to your bio and click on it, it has access to your website.
Sure.
Okay. And Dr. Goldhamer, you still there, Dr. Goldhamer?
I think he's off.
Okay. Okay. Good then. Okay. Next person.
All right, I'll go. Just understand the mouth-body connection. I really recommend. I wrote this book because even dentists don't really share the importance of the mouth as a mirror. Everything, diabetes, AIDS, vitamin deficiencies, all show up in the mouth. About 85% of systemic disease has manifestations in the mouth. Understand your mouth as a mirror for what's going on in the body and a gateway, and make peace with your microbes. And my last words of wisdom, be true to your teeth, or they'll be false to you.
And Dr. Curatola, how do we follow up with you? If we want your book, if we want to speak to you, what's the best way?
You could go to Rejuvenation Dentistry is my office, at Dr. Gerald Curatola on Instagram. I'm always posting information. This recording is taking place during Oral Cancer Awareness Month. One person dies every minute from oral cancer. Third biggest cancer, preventable, and early diagnosis is key. Every dentist should have an early detection transillumination device. Most don't, maybe 1% do. We routinely screen with an early detection device. At Dr. Gerald Curatola, rejuvdentist.com, REJUVDENTIST. Thank you, Stephen, for doing this. It's a great program.
Okay, if they go to our website, to your bio, we have your access to your website.
Yes.
Clinton, how would your final thoughts?
My third? No.
No, Clinton, you want to share your final thoughts?
Okay. I don't have a whole lot to say. I think that's probably said everything. Basically, grounding is not well understood, but if you have any pain in your body, like an ankle or a wrist or anything, go put your foot or hand on the earth for 15 to 20 minutes and experience what we're trying to teach people. But most of all, it's simple, it's free, it's effective, it's 100% natural, and it's an essential component to maintaining good health. And everything else is important that everybody's talking about, but you've got to ground the body in order to reduce and prevent the oxidative radicals, the excess oxidative radicals from feeding the fire of inflammation.
And how would people follow up with you if they want to stay in touch with your products and your website and watch your movie again and all that?
I think it's all at where they have the bios. I think it's all listed there. You can go to ultimatelongevity.com or just go to the bio and get the information from there.
Great. Thank you. Dave, your final thoughts.
One of the things that doesn't come up enough in these great meetings is that a lot of our health depends on a relationship. So I wanted to show a little idea that was given to me years ago that I really thought just nourished me a lot. This bottom here is your connection to God and your relationship with God. This is your relationship with the creation or with nature. And this is the creation. This is your relationship with other people. And when all three of those are healthy, you're healthy.
Great, thank you. David, how do we stay in touch with you and stay involved? What do we do?
DavidWolfe.com, DavidWolfe.com, or The Best Day Ever. All four of those words together, thebestdayever.com /links, LINKS. That's the latest of what I'm up to.